Oh, happy December, everyone. Oh my gosh, we have so many people on.
I know.
We're so excited to have everyone on. Thank you guys for showing up tonight for our getting started and in your Moxie Life for 2022. We have lots of great stuff we're going to cover tonight. But for those of you who are new and maybe don't know Chrissy and I, I'm Sierra Friend. I am founder and life coach, founder of Moxie Life, and I have been a dual certified life and business coach since 2005. And everything that is in Moxie Life has been what I've used in the field with my clients, executive coaching clients and corporations, and at MBA programs, basically since I started. And it's everything that I found to be the most effective when it came to goal setting. And so that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. And for those of you who may not know Chrissy, she's filling in for Darian while she's on maternity leave. Chrissy.
Hi, guys. Hi. So yeah, I'm filling in for Darian. I'm going to try and do her justice. I'm not going to be able to do it, you guys, but I'm going to do my best. But I am the operations manager at Moxie Life. So I run all of the behind the scenes stuff day to day, take a lot of the weight off Sierra's shoulders, and keep everything running for you guys behind the scenes.
Yes. Yeah. Well, thanks for filling in for Darian, and for all of you guys. Just so you guys know, Darian had Duke. Let's see, at the end of November, and he's the cutest little bundle. She'll be coming back here sometime in the first quarter, but she will be popping into Club Moxie here and there once we get that started. So I want to, for time's sake, we have a lot to cover tonight. I want to tell you guys kind of what to expect here in a minute. But before I jump into all of that, we want to know how you guys are doing, if you've started your goal setting process and where you're at in that. And also, we have so many new planners and products this year. Tell us what planner team you're on, because there are so many options. Are you team digital? Are you team flagship, team daily, team notebook?
Well, I'll start and fill the silence while we wait for those comments to roll in. I am shocked. I'm team insert for 2022.
I know, daily inserts. I have my all my goodness here in my Filofax rings, and then I have my flagship for all my memory keeping and all that kind of stuff. So I'm really excited. Hi guys, it's so good to see you. Oh, so many comments. I've been looking forward to this so much because I feel like it's been a while since we've done like a connection live. So I'm super excited. Tracy's in the house. Okay, so before I jump into all the meat and potatoes, talking about, so tonight, basically, what I wanted to do, in the past, last year, we did a 5-part series, goal setting series, 1 to 1.5 hours each week for the month of December. We're not doing that this year, but I wanted to come on and give you guys what I felt were the best tips, not only for using Moxie Life, but honestly approaching goal setting in this new year with everything that we've been going through over this last, almost 2 years. Some things that I've noticed about my own process, and also seeing how our community has approached goal setting and how different things kind of feel. So I kind of want to talk about that. So if you're new, if you're seasoned, there's going to be golden nuggets for all of you. Even if you're not using Moxie Life, this is something that you guys can apply to any system that you use. And speaking of, if you are not a Moxie Life user, we have a ton of freebies on our website that allow you to get through the first couple steps of our goal setting process for free. So if you want to try out our system and see if it works for you and it resonates, you can walk through that following some of our goal setting tips over on our YouTube. I'll talk about that too a little bit later. But there's a lot of resources available to you for free. So jump in wherever you feel comfortable. So I'm going to jump in and talk about the tips. And then when we're done with that, we're going to go over Club Moxie. So this is something that we're really excited about launching. We've had a lot of demand asking to bring this back. We had a 6-month deep dive group coaching program in this last year that just ended in October. We weren't planning on bringing it back so quickly, but
we're giving people what they want. I mean, yes. They demanded it, honestly.
Yeah. and we actually have some Club Moxie members here, and they're in the background right now, and they're cheering. I can see their arms. We're going to hear from some Club Moxie members too at the end. So when we're all done with this, we'll go ahead and take questions. I'm anticipating that this call is going to be a little bit longer. The first 45 to 50 minutes will be all of the tips that I want to go over with you guys. Then we'll transition into Club Moxie, and then we'll do Q&A at the end. So I just want to give you guys a little bit of an expectation on what to expect for that. If you have questions, please save them to the end. We have a lot of people on the call tonight, and so it gets really hard to find questions, an hour and a half later. So if you have questions, keep note of them and then add them at the end when we start asking for questions. So Chrissy, before I jump into all the goodness, because I want to go ahead and get started as soon as possible, are we good to go?
I mean, go for it. Do your thing,
Let's
girl.
go for it. Okay. Also, too, you guys, Chrissy and I are like on the tail end of a sickness. So I told her, I'm like, if I start coughing fit, which has been happening a lot, I'm like, I'm throwing you on screen. And she's like, what do you want me to do? I'm like, tell jokes. So
I am not the expert. I am not funny. I don't know jokes.
So I have my cough drops and my tea. I hope I don't start coughing. That happened to me like 2 years ago on the live. And I'm like, this is awful. So
guys, get those jokes ready just in case I need you.
Yeah. Start Googling. All right. Awesome. We're going to jump right in. So like I said, I wanted to go over some tips for getting started and approaching your goals in 2022. And I feel like this year is really unique in the sense that we have, Chrissy, if you want, you can go ahead and go off. This year is really unique in the sense that, to sit over our goals and think about where we want to go in a long term. We ask you to look at your goals from an annual perspective and think about where you want to be at the end of the year. And I know with all the uncertainty and the change and the inability to really be able to count on what's going to be happening, sometimes even next week, it's really hard to do that. So I'm going to be talking about some of these tips just in general for how they work with MäksēLife, but also kind of weave in what I feel are some tips to navigate through the uncertainty that's still present for some of the work that we're going to be doing. So bear with me. These are out of order, so I'm going to have to be flexible here. All right. Tip number 1, I want to talk about mindset. And I think, honestly, when it comes to goal setting, majority of goal setting happens on the inside, not the outside. Mindset is so incredibly important. And the one thing that I can't stress enough, that really is the biggest determining factor between someone who has extreme success with their goal setting and someone who maybe tends to have more of a challenge with it, is having a growth mindset. And I talk about this a lot throughout the planner, but adopting that growth and learning mindset as your primary objective. So instead of just always looking at your goals as something to check off on your to-do list, or being so hyper fixated on that finish line and crossing that finish line, we can oftentimes miss all of the beauty and all of the depth and inner wealth that we can build in the process. And when we make that part of our process the most important aspect of it, we're winning along the way. That fear of failure tends to go away. Feeling overwhelmed with that big giant goal, and even sometimes it can be with a smaller goal, but that end zone can sometimes feel really overwhelming. So if we adopt that mindset of prioritizing growth and learning first, you really truly immediately it changes your motivation and inspiration to take action on your goals pretty significantly. So that's the one thing I really want to stress. Really truly just focus on growth and learning as your primary objective, and then everything is going to follow suit. Growth mindset, the way I want you guys to approach your all of the stuff that we're going to be doing, specifically the compass assessment. And I see this happen in our Facebook group often. Our compass assessment walks you through a bunch of questions to evaluate how things are going in your life and give you some perspective on potential blind spots and areas for growth. A lot of times people can look at those numbers and feel have a sense of shock or feel like, oh gosh, look at how low my scores are. What I want to do is, whether you're just taking it for the first time or you're revisiting it on a quarterly basis, which is in our planner, I want you to see the information through your reflections and through the assessment as just as information. It's not to measure how well you're doing life, or whether you're good or bad, right or wrong. It really is just information as a roadmap for you to determine where you have opportunity to grow and to give you an idea of how things are going in all aspects of your life. Because if we're just kind of on autopilot doing life without considering how all aspects of our life are going, very often we tend to favor certain aspects of our life. For example, someone who, throws themselves into their work, and or parenting may let go some of their personal needs or fun and recreation. And so constantly being mindful of how everything is working together. That information is just a map for you. It's not a judgment or a value-based number. So I really can't stress that enough. Give yourself a lot of permission to see those numbers as information. And I've been doing this for over 20 years. I still can have times where I score myself a 2 or a 3 in an area of life, because life happens, it gets messy. And that is there to just remind you, hey, you haven't been paying attention to this area of life. Time to start breathing some more life into it. Be more mindful about where you're spending your time and how you're working through your goals. So again, just look at it as information versus like a value judgment. And then also, I want to talk about the long game. This is another thing that I've talked about in Club Moxie when we had our coaching training with them. I talk about how a lot of times we can look at our planner and see it as, okay, I want to do these goals now. I'm writing down these goals that I want to accomplish in the next week, the next month, in this next year. And we can put so much pressure on ourselves that this is what's going to happen, that we forget that this is just one small little blip, one little step in the whole tapestry of our entire life. And when you start in personal development and you start really adopting this way of thinking and being mindful about your life, my hope is that this is going to be something that you carry on forever, for whether you're using the planner or not, but just being mindful of this type of consideration, like I said, of all areas of your life. Take the pressure off yourself that everything that gets put down on a piece of paper has to be accomplished right now, or this month, or this year even. Because life, if anything it's taught us in the last couple of years, is that things can get messy, things can change pretty rapidly. So see this whole process as just, this year, this planner is just a really small blip in the long game that we're playing. So those mindset tips are going to help you kind of, if you find yourself feeling stressed out about what am I going to do for my goals? What am I going to write? It needs to be right. Is this something I'm really into or not? Take the pressure off that this is a chance for you to play. And the pages here, no one's going to come and grade them. If you've been in the community for any amount of time, you're going to know that we embrace freedom and flexibility. And it's all about just playing and getting messy. And I'll talk about that again in a minute. But yeah, just have fun with this. Don't take it too seriously. Tip number 2, okay, resources. This is really huge, especially since we're not doing our formal training this year. I wanted to go over all the different resources that are available to you as you're getting started or you're redoing your goals for 2022. So I can't say this enough. You guys, please read through all of your instructions in the front of your planner. Most of the questions that you're going to have or any obstacles or stall points will be addressed in all of those. I know it's a lot, but get your highlighter and your pen, write some notes to yourself to keep you going, highlight things that resonate, but definitely read through it, because everything that you need to learn how to set goals, how to remove goals, how to make sure the goals that you're setting are things that are on your agenda, not someone else's, ways to actually word your goals so that they are actual goals versus just an intention or a feeling, so that you know how to work towards it, you know when it's been accomplished, and it makes it a lot easier for you to break it down as we walk you through the rest of the year for your monthly and weekly actions. So read through those. The other thing is, like I talked about, we have the long form training videos on YouTube. Each one of those are anywhere from an hour to an hour and a half. There are 5 of them. If you want a deep dive into the goal setting process, definitely go and check out our YouTube channel. The playlist is called Goal Setting Series, and it walks you through each one of our steps in the planner that also go along with the instructions in the planner as well. You're going to get a lot of information through that. And those steps are right here in the beginning of your planner. So each one of those will be addressed. I also, if long form is not your jam, and you know, if you want, just give me the meat and potatoes, Sierra. We have a getting started series for each one of those steps that I've done in our Facebook group. And those are 5 to 10 minutes each. I get right to the nitty gritty in those. Those, like I said, are in our Facebook group under the guides tab in getting started. And also, if you're not in our Facebook group yet, please be sure to do that. There's amazing, amazing support there. I know I'm biased, but I truly believe that they're one of the most supportive online communities. I see my girls in the background. They're clapping and saying yes, yes, yes. And then also too, Club Moxie is going to be launching in January, and I'm going to talk about that at the end. If you are wanting more guidance, more training to talk about the nuances of your goal setting and challenges that you're going to come across, both internal and external, Club Moxie is a great option for you. I'm going to talk about the format. It's changing from how we had it before. And I really am excited about this because it's going to lift you up and take advantage of those natural points of motivation and inspiration that happen throughout the year. And then we've also built in a momentum forum aspect part of the for each quarter. At the end of each quarter, we're going to do a momentum focus to get you back into action and to reignite your goals and your Motivation at times when it tends to dip. And so there are like pretty like clockwork times that we can see that. And so I've set up the whole entire year to meet you guys where you're going to be at with all of those in mind. Okay, tip number 3, just begin. So this is everywhere, but I cannot stress this enough, you guys. There is a reason why this is our tagline. I've been doing this for so incredibly long that I have found in my observation and working with people, and majority of my clients were high level, high functioning executive, like A-type people, personalities. And I will tell you that anytime planning took precedence over action, if there's so much time spent on the planning part, and that is important because without planning, we wouldn't know where we're going and we wouldn't identify the why and the hows. But if we spend too much time there, what I have found is that planning can actually be a distraction for many people. It can be a way that people put off taking action. And it's really convenient to get so caught up in the planning aspect of things that we forget what we're planning for, and that we need to take our energy and take it off the pages and into real life applications. So dive in. If you find yourself feeling stuck at all and unsure or scared, and I'm going to address this a little bit later. But if you're feeling scared, just jump in. Nothing creates momentum and inspiration more than just taking action and taking that first step. So we're going to talk about that a lot. So just begin. And also too, planning has a tendency to tap into our fear of failure. It cues in our inner critic that says, oh, are you sure you want to do that goal? Well, what if this happens? Or you've set that goal before, but you didn't quite accomplish it. All of that gets removed, and you lessen the chances of getting in your own way when you take your goal setting off of your pages and into real life application. So again, I can't stress enough to just begin. If you find yourself, trying to get all the steps perfect before you take that action, it's time to get real with yourself and ask, what do I need to do to start putting this into action? Number 4, this is a really big one that I don't talk about a ton. I talk about it with my team a lot, and I've mentioned it in other videos, but it's so incredibly important. And I'm going to give you some examples with my own process to hopefully help give you guys some permission with this. Follow the energy. What does that mean? I want, first of all, for you guys to make your process your own. So your process is going to look incredibly different from the next person. My husband and I have been setting goals together for over 15 years. His process looks incredibly different from mine because the way that I approach things and what I feel comfortable with is incredibly different from how he does it. So I want you guys to give yourself permission to not compare your process or your goals or even your accomplishments to someone else. When I say follow the energy, what I have found, and this is not some science backed by science, but I've worked with many hundreds of people over the years. Majority of people, when they first get started, and I would even say the first couple years of their goal setting, they tend to favor short-term goals or long-term goals. You usually tend to favor one over the other. One can be a little bit more difficult, or one you naturally feel more inclined or excited to set goals for, one of those. If you find yourself really excited to do the annual goals, but you start getting caught up in the monthly goals and the weekly actions, start there and let yourself slowly integrate into the shorter term goals, or vice versa. If you find the annual goals to be a little daunting and overwhelming, especially now with everything that's been going on over the last couple of years, it is a very common trauma response for people who have had a lot of upheaval, which we've all collectively had over the last couple of years, with the uncertainty of our daily routines, being able to see friends and family, having access to things that we normally have in our lives, like school, work, social interaction, even going to the gym or being able to go unencumbered to something like, the grocery store or Starbucks or, wherever. It's a normal response for us to start to shut down and not be able to think long-term and where you want to be from a long-term perspective. So if you're finding yourself struggling with that, that is totally okay. And it is an absolute normal response for everything that we've gone through. I want to give you an example. I personally really struggled with annual goals when I first started with my goal setting process. I didn't set annual goals my first year, maybe even my second year. It's been a long time, so I don't really remember. And then I started to get more comfortable with it as I was setting goals. I was like, okay, I can start to spread that out and start to think, further in the future. What I found this last year when I was setting my goals for 2021, that I found myself feeling that feeling again of, I don't know what I want to set for my annual goals. And so I put Post-it notes on my annual goals pages. I wish I would have brought my planner so I could show you, but I put Post-it notes there so that I could write my goals down on Post-it notes. Cause I was like, well, if things change, I can move them out. Didn't want to use whiteout and have to redo my pages all over. And so for the first time in decades, like I couldn't commit. I couldn't put pen to paper for my annual goals. And I'm sharing that with you because I want to normalize that your process is going to look different every year. Every single year, things are going to be different depending on what season of life you're in, what you're going through, what circumstances are present. in your life, your family, your community, in the world at large. So follow the energy. What feels good for you? If sitting down and writing down your annual goals on Post-it notes feels comfortable and that's like what resonates with you, then do that. If skipping your annual goals, and I usually advocate for you following the steps step by step, but I really want to give you permission. If you find yourself stuck, move on to the next thing, or start on step 3. If doing a vision board excites you, start there, and then come back and use that information and inspiration to fill out the other areas. So again, follow the energy. There is no one way to do this. Embrace it, make it your own, and know that this is your sacred space to play. You can write all of your goals and realize, I don't know what I was thinking. None of these are things that excite me in March. You can be like, I don't know. And you know what? You didn't lose anything in that process. You've learned what you don't want to do. And that is so huge. Don't underestimate the times that you don't accomplish your goals, the value that they could potentially have in your process and in your life. I personally see times when we don't accomplish goals as one step closer to finding our own truth and what it is that we actually really do want. And if you don't give yourself permission to have that experience, to put something down that may not really be for you, and to work through the process and realize that I'm risking failure and I'm not following through with something, we ask you to ask the questions to mine what kind of value you can get from that through your reflections. I'll talk about that in just a minute. But you are still getting golden nuggets. And that's going to help you set better goals down the road too. So embrace all of it. Okay. We're going to celebrate and get excited for all the wins. We're also going to celebrate the times that we don't get things done because we're learning. And embrace the messy bits. Embrace the messy bits. You guys, growth is hard. It is not easy. And I am not going to blow sunshine up your skirt about this, but growth is hard, and goal setting is not just about putting things on paper and crossing them off. That's not, yes, it's important, but it's only a small part of the process. Goal setting, majority of it happens up here. And if we're only chasing the good and we're only focused on the positive, we're missing what is getting in our way. And so, Club Moxie is an opportunity for us to go a lot deeper and have some of those deeper conversations and kind of unpack what some of that stuff may be. It's hard to do that inside of a planner. But I really want to normalize that growth is hard, and you're going to come up against some really hard stuff, whether it's your own inner critic, whether it's your own ways of self-sabotaging, if it's old patterns and behaviors that get in the way of what it is that you truly want. The only way that we're going to transcend that is by being willing to look at it and put it on the table so that we can work through it and say, yep, this doesn't work for me anymore. But the only way to do that is if we embrace it, if we normalize that things are hard, that we struggle, and sometimes things don't go the way that we want them to, and that's totally okay. We also want to reframe failure. Failure, again, is information. It is one step closer to what does work for you, and it is going to make you that much more clear, that much more excited for the wins that you have. And those failures are going to help steer your ship towards or in the direction of where you want to go. And how you do that is to embrace a spirit of curiosity. Always ask yourself, how am I learning and growing? And that's how you're going to reframe failure and turn it from something that's negative into something that's actually serving you. Reflection. Okay. I talk about this, we're constantly being compared to other goal setting systems, and I love that. And I'm honored that our name has been thrown in the hat with many amazing goal setting systems. But the one thing that sets us apart from many out there, and this, I would have never had this insight had I not been in the field for as long as I had been and watching people's process and where they got, stuck and they got in their own way, was when you take So MäksēLife is action and then reflection. Majority of other goal setting planners are reflection then action. And there's a reason for that. And it is so intentional. And the reason why is when you take action, you get closer to what it is that you want. You get closer to learning the lesson than if you sit and contemplate what it may be that you may experience. I mean, it's important. Again, it's important to plan. It's important to have an idea of where we're going. But if we find that all of our attention and effort is going into the planning part, we have prevented ourselves from actually doing what it is that we want in our life. So I want you guys to start taking action right away. Even if you're unclear, be unclear. We're not supposed to have it all figured out. In fact, by the way, you may have the most clear goals and direction that you've ever had put on a piece of paper. And I guarantee you within a matter of months, something will have shifted. It's just life. And so the quicker that you embrace that, the more that you realize that's just part of the process. And then reflect and have reflection built in, which we have monthly reflections built into the planner that are guided and directed. I recommend a minimum of doing them once a month, but I highly recommend doing them once a week. And so for our new planners, notes and reflections pages each week, you guys may have seen at the top, this is a new ad. This is here every week. You have a free notes page, blank notes page. And this is blank to give you guys freedom and flexibility to use how you want. If you want to put your grocery list and meal plan there, you can. But what I would highly recommend is to use it to do the reflections that are at the top. It's to reflect on what your wins were from the week before, what's working, what's not working, adjustments that you need, lessons that you've learned. And that is going to help give you clarity of just those simple questions to say, like, what is working in my life and what isn't? And it can be something as simple as I keep looking at my phone and in bed, and I'm not getting proper sleep, and it's making me grouchy, and I don't have the energy that I need to do the goals that I have. And without that reflection, you would maybe know it in the back of your head, but in the busyness of life, it's really easy to overlook those little gold nuggets that actually give us true real world application information on how we're doing with our goals. Instead of conjecture or considering what may happen, you actually know what is happening, and you're able to make real-time adjustments and have your actions work for you each week, each month, based on that information. So reflection is so incredibly powerful. I would argue that reflections are probably more important than breaking down your goals. And I know that's a pretty big statement. I love to see people wanting to mine the information from the reflections that they get from their goal setting. I want to see your energy there as a coach. I want to see your energy there instead of tell me how to break down this goal and make it make sense and all the steps that I need to do to get there. You're going to get quicker results in your life with the things that you truly, truly, genuinely want. You will grow in your confidence. You will grow in your sense of fulfillment, in your satisfaction in life, your harmony and balance with how things are working by taking action and reflecting on a regular basis. How are they going? And what steps and changes and adjustments do I want to make moving forward? I lost my track. Was I number 7? Were we 7? We were 6, 7. We're at 7. Okay. All right. Trust the process. Oh, this is a hard one. I did a survey when we first started MäksēLife. I did a survey, and it was so random. It was on Instagram, and I had said, "What how many of you trust the process?" And it was just a blanket. I mean, it's a broad question, and over 90. I think it was 96% of people said they do not trust the process. And again, it was a very vague question, but it was very telling to me how hard it is for us to really trust that if we're going to be doing something, so often we want to know it's going to be okay. We want to know how it's going to end. And goal setting, nothing triggers that part of our brain and our psyche more than when you say, I'm going to set a goal and I'm going to start working towards that. But it's almost like, again, if we are adopting that mindset of growth and learning instead of constantly chasing that carrot or trying to get over that finish line, when you realize that the unfolding of it and who you become in the process is where the magic lies for your goal setting process. It makes things so much easier. So just trust that how things are meant to play out is exactly how it's supposed to be. And you're going to mine all of that amazing information and golden nuggets from it as you go through your process. So trust it. And I want to talk about this real fast too, is finding your flow. If you, sorry, I keep switching between slides. I'm just all over the place with these, but I wanted to give you, it's hard. A lot of our process is going to challenge the way, if you've done goal setting before, our system is different. And that's for a reason. Again, it's field tested. I took out things that I saw not being of value to people. You're not going to see a lot of changes in our goal setting system because we've already done that. It's already been tested in the field. You guys may have a couple weeks of learning what your flow is. So give yourself permission to try to just begin to write out your goals, whether it's your monthly goals, your weekly actions, and realize that the next week you're going to be like, these either weren't enough, I can do more, or these didn't resonate with me, I need to kind of start all over, and or I wrote these down and I overestimated the time and energy that I have. It doesn't mean that you aren't writing goals properly. You're learning about yourself, and without doing that, you wouldn't know what you're capable of or what your load is, from a time and energy perspective. So you're going to play around with that for a couple of weeks. I have found that it can take most people anywhere from 4 to 8 weeks to feel like they found their flow, to know and to trust themselves, to know that they are setting goals that work for them. So be patient with yourself in the process. And this is kind of for later on in the year, but I want you to also embrace as blank pages as part of your process too. So you're going to fall off. There's nobody, I have yet to meet anyone. And if any of you guys have had perfect goal setting pages throughout your entire planner, please let me know, because I want to celebrate you huge. But majority of people will not do their goals every month, every week. You're going to have blank pages. The hope is that you don't miss 2 in a row. And that's an Atomic Habits thing that I've adopted for my own life and goal setting. And I think it's a great philosophy to have. Go ahead and give yourself an off week, but try not to have it, this is with habits too, but try not to do it 2 days or 2 weeks or 2 times in a row. And just pick up where you left off, because there's no judgment in these pages. I hear a lot from people, oh my gosh, I fell off the wagon. I didn't fill out my goals for the last couple months. Life got crazy. Things got busy. I wasn't motivated. I wasn't feeling good. COVID happened. My whole life has been turned upside down. And they have a hard time jumping back into their goals. And I want to let you know that you can pick up exactly where you left off, no matter where you're at. If you want to jump into your monthly goals for the next month and start fresh, you can. If it's a whole new week and you just want to start fresh with a new week, it's there for you. There is no redoing of anything. You literally can jump right back in and embrace those blank pages. It's part of your story. It's part of the story of the time that you didn't have the motivation, that life was crazy and things took over. That is part of your story. You're not here for perfection. So embrace the blank pages. Write a note to yourself. I love you, even though you didn't get your goals done. We're fine. We're perfect just the way we are. So, and use those as opportunities to love and nurture yourself in your process and to trust the process. And last, trust yourself. And I want to end with this one. This is our last tip for the night. And I'm going to continue going into some stuff with Club Moxie and whatnot. But I really want you guys to trust yourself. So often we don't trust that we have the answers, or that we somehow need to find the answers outside of ourselves. Again, this is where we get stuck in planning. Tell me all the steps. I have to have all the steps before I take action. A lot of things in our life we've been trained to follow and fit inside of a box, that things are a certain way, and God forbid you don't fit into that. Somehow you're wrong. So tell me the answers. How do I do this right? There is no right way. The only right way is what works for you. So there's a lot of unlearning, and I don't think this gets talked about enough with goal setting, but there's a lot of unlearning and kind of unpacking that has to happen to really get to the heart of setting goals and intentions, intentional living, mindful living, present living, that requires us to unlearn the expectations that we have, that we think that people have of us, whether it's our significant other, our family, society. Roles and norms are at play. Cultural aspects can come into play with this. There's so many different things. We've been conditioned. There's so much rules that we've been told. But when it comes to our goal setting process and our own personal growth, we need to learn our own truth. And so, that's stuff that we talk about in the planner. You'll naturally uncover that. We're going to go deeper into that with Club Moxie. But trust yourself that your answers are inside of you. You just need to create an opportunity for them to come out. Also, part of that is anytime you find yourself using the word should. I should do that. I should have a hot meal on the table 7 days a week, or I'm a bad mom or a bad wife, or, I can't have dirty laundry anywhere, or I'm not a good homemaker, or I have to work 10 to 12 hours a day to be a good employee. Says who? Says who? Okay. So anytime you find yourself saying the word should to yourself or to anyone else, it implies expectation. Replace it with the word could. You could cook dinner 7 days a week. You could make sure you have no laundry in your house. You could work 10 to 12-hour days, but do you want to? And is that your design? Is that by your design, or is it by design of expectation, external expectations that you've been conditioned to place above your own inner knowing? So again, trust yourselves as you go through your process. The answers are within you, not outside of you. And when setting goals, ask yourself, and this is the quickest way to get to the heart of finding your own truth and removing all the junk and noise and fuzz around our goal setting process and designing what it is that we want. Ask yourself, what do I want or need? What do I need in each area of life for this month or this week? And what is required of me? And use those as guiding questions as you do your goals. If you're not clear on what you want your goals to be, start to train yourself to identify what you need. It is not selfish. We have been trained that it is selfish. The messaging is you're selfish if you address your needs first before you go out into the world and take care of everyone else. And as women, or people who identify, those of us who identify as women, unfortunately, society supports that we're caretakers and we take care of everyone else before we take care of ourselves. That is very clearly proven to not work for most of us. And it is a recipe for depression and anxiety and unhappiness and loneliness. And that doesn't need to be. You can ask yourself a very simple question of what you need, and write those things down on a piece of paper. And you don't even have to share them with anyone. Just start to get into the practice and the habit of asking yourself that, so that you get in the habit of really starting to mine what it is that you want, so that you start to build that trust with yourself when it comes to your goal setting. I'm going to invite Chrissy back. So those are my tips. Oops, I'm all over the place here. I'm going to, Chrissy, you want to come on back?
I literally just want to exit this live and just be with my planner on my own. So many amazing tips.
Yeah, and you guys, I mean, for time's sake, in the time that we have here, I know there's not like a hey, do this, and one of the things I want to talk about, because oftentimes people are like, just tell me what I need to do. What's that next step, Sierra? And you may notice if you're in the Facebook group, or even in Club Moxie, I'm not going to tell you what to do because it's not my life, but I will ask questions that help you determine what it is that you want. To hopefully just, again, to keep coming back to strengthening your ability to find your truth and your direction internally versus external.
Yeah. Awesome. I love it. And I'm totally adopting that sticky notes for annual goals thing for this year, because that's been in the back of my mind, just holding me back from putting pen to paper. So I'm totally stealing that.
Yeah, it works. And I kept them. I never took them off. I actually never revisited and really reworked my annual goals. I just stayed in my monthly goals each month because it just felt better.
Mhm.
And I haven't done that in the past. And I'm like, oh, well, this makes sense. This year's really crazy. Oh, one thing I wanted to talk about too, about following the energy. This is a really great example. I remember last year, I could not wait to do my vision board. I was so excited. I was looking on Pinterest, saving images. Like for some reason, more than any years before, doing a vision board was like where the energy was for me. This year, I'm like, I've been saving images and I'm like, I'm more excited about my annual goals. I don't know if I'll do a vision board this year. I probably will, but I'll probably do it in January sometime. So I want to give you guys that permission that sometimes you're going to be really excited about one aspect of it and not another. And that's totally okay. It's totally okay.
Yeah.
You can set really effective goals, whether it's, identifying your big picture, where you're headed with your annual goals in the beginning and or like then switching to and just focusing on your monthly and weekly actions, and you'll still get, either way you'll have different results, but you will have results either way.
Yeah, that's totally me. I've been focusing on monthly and weekly for the last few months because I just couldn't focus. I couldn't even look at my annual goals pages, and it's just been so helpful to just permission. And I think that's the biggest lesson from this live is just permission to do what works for you.
Well, anytime, we're not into shame-based, personal growth here. So yeah, lots of permission. So with that being said, let's talk about Club Moxie, because I know there's so many people that have been really excited to hear about that.
Yeah. So Club Moxie, if you guys don't know what it is, it's the brainchild, obviously, of Sierra. It came to be last year around April was when we opened the doors first, and we started in May. And last year it was a 6-month deep dive because Sierra really wanted to meet people where they were at. We've had a hell of it was 18 months back then. Now it's 2 years almost. I can't even keep track anymore that we're in this pandemic P word. But we really wanted to meet people where they were at and help them in their goal setting process and help them kind of just come back to themselves again. And again, find that permission in their lives to live lives that they wanted to live and kind of go after those dreams that they were chasing. So it started off as a 6-month thing. And as time progressed, we were talking behind the scenes and we were like, we're not going to be able to close this after 6 months, are we? Because everybody was just so happy in the group and having so much amazing growth in the group. And we knew how valuable this was in so many people's lives. So we're bringing it back for 2022 and we're really excited about it. And Sierra's going to talk through some of the changes if you guys are in Club Moxie 1.0 already.
Yeah. So, one of the things I loved about Club Moxie, the fact that it was a short-term program gave us an opportunity. I've never held a group coaching program through Facebook the way that we had. And so, it was great to walk away from that experience and see how we can fine tune things and just continue to make things better and more accessible so that people stick with the program for as long as possible and get the most out of it. And so we took surveys throughout the entire process to get feedback from people. And I take your feedback, whether it's from any services or programs that we have, or products, or any aspect, I take it to heart. I want to know how you guys feel and how things work for you. And I'm really excited about the changes that we've made for Club Moxie for 2022, because I think it's like perfect. It's just like we find it, and I'm just like really excited about it.
Me too.
So what is Club Moxie? How come I can't find these? Here we go. What is Club Moxie? For those of you who maybe don't know, it is a community coaching program, and we are going to have this be a membership program that's monthly. So like Club Moxie, the original one was a 6-month coaching program. This is just going to be an ongoing membership program that you can be a part of. It is to go deeper with your goal setting process in a community setting. And I'm going to direct it. I'm going to be the facilitator, but we have a faculty, and I'm excited to share with you the new additions that we are adding to the curriculum for the new year. I'm also changing the focus a little bit, and this is just more in alignment with where I saw the energy for the members in the first Club Moxie. We're going to be doing goal setting and mindset training, personal development, and then mind and body wellness. And that's the one thing that I'm really excited about. We have Tracy on our faculty, who is our wellness coordinator, focusing on mental health. We've always had her. She's amazing. Hi, Tracy. I think you're here.
Hi, Tracy.
But I brought someone else on board for some additional stuff. So
yeah, that change alone, like, it's just proof to me, even from the back end, that Club Moxie isn't about Sierra. It isn't about MäksēLife. It's about giving you all the best experience and the best transformation inside this membership. And I'm so excited.
Yeah. And like MäksēLife, we look at, and our goal setting is backed by life coaching, my life coaching training. And I'm sure you guys have seen the wheel of life all over everywhere. Almost any life coach uses it. I've tailored it to be specific to our process, my process through the years. But while that looks at all aspects of your life, I see Club Moxie as looking at all aspects of you as a person. So the planner is there to help you with your life on the outside. Club Moxie is your opportunity to go inward with your process a little bit more. So I'm really excited. Let's talk about what the next thing is. These slides are all over. I'm so sorry. Hopefully I'm going to pick the right one next. What is this one? Oops. Okay. Yeah. So the format is going to be, like I said, a monthly membership. The registration window will be open at the end of each quarter. So this is not going to be a program that you can sign up for at any time. We'll have registration open at the end of the quarter, every quarter. So basically 4 times a year. You can cancel at any time. We'll have 2 different pricing tiers for monthly and quarterly membership, depending on how you want to do that. We'll talk about pricing in just a second. But the way that I've set up the structure for each quarter, and we're going to look at this as a package deal for the quarter. The first 2 months are going to be focused trainings, and we're going to address, any range of topics from, mindset, overcoming inner critic, how to incorporate accountability into your goal setting process, how to overcome challenges, and that kind of stuff. So we'll have the training format for those first 2 months. But one of the things that we're going to do that I'm really excited about, that we built into Club Moxie, one of the months was a momentum month. And I have all kinds of tips and tricks for those of you who are like, just get me on the pavement or running and taking action and getting wins. This month, I would say, wouldn't you say that month was the most live that our group was? Yeah. And here's the thing. We have I don't know, anywhere from 6 to 8 weeks of excitement around goal setting, and then it starts to wane. And that's just human nature. And what's cool about the way that the calendar year works, and the system, and kind of how things go with goal setting, is usually around the end of the quarter, is right about the time of year when our natural momentum falls off with their goal setting. It's usually when people stop writing their goals, stop taking action, because it's not tied to a date that inspires us, where people are talking about January 1st, even though there's nothing special about the beginning of the year. It's excitement, and it gets people thinking in ways that March 1st doesn't. So what we're going to do is those first 2 months will be training with challenges. We'll walk you through what's included here in just a minute. But that 3rd month, at the end of the quarter, where you have a natural dip in momentum and inspiration, will be a momentum month. And then the quarter will start all over. So the end of every quarter will be a focus on really taking action. And for those of you who are super focused on crossing those finish lines, it's going to be a really awesome opportunity for you to do that.
Yeah. And I just wanted to add, I just saw a comment here that you're afraid to start 2.0 because you have to catch up on 1.0. The momentum month is put there on purpose for that reason as well, because it gives you a chance to catch up and also be in the energy of everything that everybody's learning at the same time, without feeling bad about not keeping up in the other 2 months, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's your opportunity to catch a break. If life is crazy and you're like, I need to focus on this one particular thing in my life or this one particular goal, or I need to play catch up because I've fallen behind. That's a month for you to do it. And we will walk you along how to do that. There will be a formal process with that. We're not going to just leave you to your own devices. So we'll walk you through it, but the focus will be taking action on those goals. So we'll do the internal work those first 2 months, and then we're going to turn it into action for that third. And that's just going to follow every single quarter. And I'm really excited about this because, you guys, I really think, I keep thinking, how do we make our community have the best value, the most impactful experience? And I really think that this is going to be a really awesome format for that.
Totally.
Okay. I'm like, what is the next slide? You guys, our slides are like out of order. So, and they're like this big. So I'm trying to, with my old 44-year-old eyes, I'm just like, what's the next one?
What are we on next? Oh, here?
Yeah. Okay, here we are. Let's talk about, what does Club Moxie include? So it's going to be held on Facebook. And the main reason for that, I know there's a lot of you that are like, and I'm with you. Unfortunately, it's like a love-hate relationship with social media, especially Facebook. But the reality is there's been tons of studies done in group coaching formats that engagement significantly tanks when you take it off a platform that people aren't naturally on. And the beauty of Club Moxie is the community. I mean, it really is. It's like, if you love our free Facebook group, Club Moxie is like extra. And the best way to do that is to meet people where they're at. And that happens to be Facebook. So it will be a private Facebook community. It's going to be life coach design curriculum. So I'm going to be the one going through a lot of the work that I do with you guys is pulled from all of the experience and everything that I've done in the past with, workshops and with my clients. But I also take an intuitive approach. If I see that life is, spinning us on, throwing us back on our heads again, and, we need to switch things up to meet you where you're at, we will meet you exactly where you're at. So there is that element to it that I'm very mindful about when I design the curriculum. One of the big changes that we're going to make in the past with Club Moxie 1.0, we had everything as like a daily post to keep engagement going. All supporting content was constantly being posted throughout the month, and that felt overwhelming for a lot of people. And so what we've decided to do is to put everything into a single PDF training workbook that will be available for you to download, print, save to your digital planner, whatever you want. It'll all be in one place that you can print out. And that way you don't have to feel like you need to be plugged into the Facebook group to get all of the content and supporting content. So everything will be right there for you. I think that's probably one of the biggest improvements that we are making from Club Moxie 1.0 to 2.0. Included in that, and it'll range in page size, but I would say expect anywhere from 6 to 20 pages, depending on the topic that we're talking about. So it's a true workbook that will have the monthly growth theme, my training material, a challenge, which is usually taking that growth theme into action and applying it into your own life, because that's where the learning actually starts to take place and cement in. We're going to have mental health tips, affirmations, and journal prompts, and all of that will be included in the PDF. We will have guides that manage our trainings inside of Facebook. They will be simplified from what they were in the first training. Club Moxie, it's going to literally just have the training. So what will happen is you're going to go into Facebook group. There's a guide. It'll say January training. You'll have your live video that we do. You'll have your PDF to download. And if there's a bonus training, you'll have that too. And that's it. There's not a ton of stuff you have to weed through. Everything is really easy to find, really accessible. And I'm really excited about that. One of the new things that I was talking about that I'm really excited about, and I cannot wait to introduce you to her, but we have brought on a mindfulness coach, and her name is Neha, and she works she's amazing. She's got her degree from Berkeley, her master's from MIT. She weaves in mindfulness and breathing and Eastern philosophy with, being with mindfulness. And she is going to be doing a short, like 15-minute breathing video and or a meditation video that will also be uploaded to Facebook that will complement our training so that you will have the mindfulness as well as the goal setting and that kind of stuff. This is going to be tailored to help you work through stress, eliminate anxiety, get more focused and clear on your goal setting process. And it's just one more layer to, again, like I said, the planner is for the external stuff. Club Moxie is to really focus on your personal growth and supporting you as best as you can in your process. And then, of course, we're going to do our monthly goals check-in and our quarterly momentum focus to stay, we're here for the goals. So we'll stay focused on the goals too. So
I cannot wait for Neha. Like, I cannot wait.
I know. I'm so excited for you guys to meet her. She is precious. I love her. Okay. Other things that you guys can expect. We'll have periodic bonus trainings. In Club Moxie, one of the bonus trainings we had was I had my longtime therapist, who is now a mentor, PhD from Stanford, brilliant guy. He is amazing with mindset work and inner critic work. I had brought him on with a bonus training and people could ask him questions. That's just an example. If I feel like there's someone in my personal Rolodex that will help you guys kind of learn deeper beyond what I can share or anyone in our faculty can share, we'll bring them on as a bonus training. You guys will also get early access to product previews and launches. If you guys have been around here at all and I like to spill the beans, Club Moxie gets to get all the beans.
I do not approve every single bean spillage.
No, she doesn't. You guys, in fact, I get in trouble. She's like, Sierra, you weren't supposed to share that. I'm like,
it's like a thing now inside Club Moxie that when Sierra starts spilling beans, people tag me in the comments like, did Chrissy prove this?
And Chrissy does little eyes. I'm watching you. I'm watching you. Yeah, but it's fun for me because Club Moxie is like the one place where I can go where I can be like, okay, look at this new product. You guys get to see all of the covers and new products and stuff that we're doing before anyone else does. In fact, I think Club Moxie got to see the covers like 2 or 3 weeks before we showed up online. So yeah, it's a place where I get to play. That's the fun part for me. You guys also get special discounts. We're going to be doing how to build accountability into your goal setting process in February. We're going to give special promotions or discounts for products that help you accomplish those goals and the training topics throughout the year. So if one of our products we feel is a great, complement to what we're talking about, you guys get special discounts that are not available to anyone else in our community. So that's another great thing. And another fun special sign up bonus, if for this first quarter only, I have created a workbook, a 2021 year-end reflections and review workbook for you to help reflect. Going back to that reflection, how did things go for you? Where, what were your wins? Where did you feel good? What were the golden nuggets and the highlights for you? And what didn't work? And what do you want to do from that? So it's all questions that aren't in anywhere else in our planner. So it's all new material. And that is a downloadable workbook. What we're going to do is, Chrissy, is Club Moxie open right now?
Oh, it's open.
Oh, okay. So Club Moxie, you guys can go to our website now. It's live. It's live. We're not going to wait and be like, oh, we're launching, on Monday or whatever. No, it's live. We didn't want to cut. We're just cutting to the chase here. So it's live.
I'm just sitting over here. I'm like, yeah, this is open. You guys go for it.
It's open. So you guys can sign up now. Our Facebook group we're finishing up all the final touches and we will start letting people in on Monday. And the very first training will be our kickoff call, which is fun for us. We'll do some giveaways and stuff. That will be on January 4th. Our first training is going to be on the 6th. But between Monday and the start of the year, before we get into all of that, you guys will have the opportunity to go into the group, start interacting with one another, talk about your goal setting process. You'll also be able to download that workbook and work through that while we're all enjoying the holidays and doing all of our annual planning and stuff before we get started. So we aren't wasting any time. You guys can jump right in and get started with Club Moxie right away.
Yes.
Even though the training isn't until then. Okay, pricing. Do we want to take a break for anything? Did you want to, before I did that? No, okay.
No, go for it.
The pricing. You guys, I'm so sorry. I feel a cough coming. Time for a cough.
Oh my gosh, don't make me tell a
no,
joke.
she's like, don't you dare. Don't you dare. I'm sorry. Hold on. Time for a water break.
I've been muting myself and coughing this whole time.
I'm surprised I haven't. This is like the longest I've gone in like 2 weeks. Okay. Pricing, there's going to be 2 pricing tiers. We're going to do monthly. We're keeping the pricing the same as it was last time, mainly because we feel that this is the best format for what we're doing. It's $59 a month for a monthly recurring payment plan, or it's $150 per quarter. You save 17%. You guys can actually this is one thing that's different. You can cancel at any time. You just won't be able to rejoin or resubscribe until the next open doors, which would be the end of the next quarter. And so we've laid all that information out on the product page and in our terms and conditions. So if you have any questions around that, feel free to take a look there, or you can go into our Facebook group if we don't cover your questions now. Into the Facebook group, and we're happy to answer some questions for you over there. Oh, Emily, yes, I can't stress enough the impact Club Moxie's had on my life. The best investment in myself ever. Yeah. Yay. Oh, I love that, Emily. And let's see, I want to go over faculty real fast, and then we are going to bring some Club Moxie people on and have them share their experience and what they liked and what worked and how excited they are for the new one. So here is the faculty. So of course there's going to be me. I'll be facilitating. Tracy is our mental health coordinator, wellness coordinator. Miha is our mindfulness coach. And the 3 of us will be providing all of the growth and training material for you. Oh, did Darian? Oh, she did. Okay, you guys.
Oh my gosh.
Excited. Stay on if you want to see Darian. Oh,
she has the baby. She has the baby.
Speaking of Darian, here's Darian. Our staff is Darian, Community Development Coordinator. Sarah is our Community Champion and Affirmation Queen. Chrissy's our Program Manager. And then, of course, Jessica, our newest member to the group. She's our Community Care Specialist and will be taking care of all your guys' needs. And, okay, can we bring you on? Bring her on.
Oh, hello.
Oh my gosh.
Let us see the baby.
This is Duke. He's
Oh
sleeping right now. Yeah.
Oh,
he's gotten so big.
I know. I'm just like, I'm like, they really do grow so fast.
It's crazy.
Hello, everybody. Hey.
I know it's a party back here. Oh, I'm so glad you jumped on. I was hoping you'd be able to.
Yes.
How are you?
I'm good. I've been trying to sleep while he sleeps, but it's a lot harder than what it is. Yeah.
You have stuff to do. You have to do that stuff while he's sleeping.
I know.
I couldn't.
Yeah, we're doing good. We're doing good.
Oh, it's so good to see you. I'm so glad you were able to join.
Yes. Oh, yeah. He has a lot of hair, y'all. That's the first thing the doctor said when they seen that baby. They're like, he has hair. He has a lot of hair.
Did you have heartburn?
No, which was crazy because I wasn't expecting him to have hair because I was like, oh, I'm not having heartburn, so maybe he'll come out bald. No.
Oh. Oh my gosh. Well, I'm so glad you joined and we were able to see his cuteness.
Yes,
we miss you.
Yes. Oh, well, thanks for letting me pop on. I've been watching the live on and off. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna pop on.
Well, we miss you. I'm trying to hold your space.
You're doing great. I'm waiting for the jokes.
I know, right? Don't you dare have a coughing fit. Oh, all right. Love you.
I love you guys.
Bye. Oh my gosh, she's so cute. I was hoping she was
cute.
going to join.
So cute.
All right, let's bring on our Club Moxie friends.
Yes.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey everyone. I'm gonna Chrissy, will you go ahead and ask the questions? I'm just gonna have a little
Yeah, you're allowed to have a coughing fit now that I have guests with me. So welcome, Katie, Abby, Vishaka. We're so excited that you guys are here. So Katie, Abby, and Vishaka were Club Moxie 1.0 members, and we invited them on to share a little bit about their experience. So whoever wants to go first, just jump right into it. I want to know, first of all, like, what was your thought? Like, what were you thinking about Club Moxie, like, before you joined? Like, how did you feel, like, when you first found out about it?
Go ahead. Abby?
Abby.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So, nervous excitement?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Is that fair? So, like,
yeah.
You know that, like, you're going to dig into some things and it's going to be hard. So, you're nervous.
Mm-hmm.
But also, you're going to make progress. And that's exciting. And it's a weird combination of the two. I can't explain it, but it's nervous excitement.
Yes.
Yeah.
What about you, Katie? What did you, because Katie, you've done a lot of personal development work.
Yes, I was very stressed because I'd been doing for almost a whole year prior to Club Moxie. I first started out with strengths training, Clifton strengths training, coaching. That was very focused on writing burnout and stuff that I've been dealing with for a few years at that point. And I was also closing in on a year of therapy with a licensed counselor and everything. So I was just like, this is all really good stuff, but I know I'm missing something. And so when I saw the description of Club Moxie, I'm like, that's it. That's that third leg that I need to really bounce off. And I bounced. I bounced hard.
Yeah. Why don't you tell us, like, what the experience was like for you?
It was just kind of amazing because I actually just had a session with my therapist about how much growth I've had in the last, like, since I started working with her in February, and especially with Club Moxie, and how there were times that I would have Club Moxie training, therapy, and strengths coaching, and that same week, all three were talking about the exact same thing. And it was just kind of amazing how they just kept building on each other. And it just really became like kind of like almost exponential.
That's amazing. Yeah. I mean, you've had a ton of growth this year. It's been really cool and an honor to have you,
Thank you,
in the club and get to cheer you on through all of it. What about
Thank
you,
you.
Vishaka? You have had a ton of, like, stuff go on this year.
Yeah, I think, can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay. I think when I heard first about Club Moxie, I did not have any feelings. I was just looking for a community. And it sounds huge to pay for a community. But I was like, I was so lost and alone that I was like, okay, I need something. I do not know what it is. I'm hoping this gives me that. It was just a hope. And I think, like, this year, I did not even start with the flagship planner, or I wasn't even in the MäksēLife system, but I've followed you, I've followed all the community members, and it's like, I do not feel like I have been, like, not a part of MäksēLife. So for me, it was like, okay, I need something. I don't know what it is. I'm hoping this is it. Okay. So
that's
did
amazing.
You find it? What did you find while you're What did you find while you're
more?
What was that?
More. I found more.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Why don't you talk about that a little, because you've had some pretty big personal and professional transformations and mindset shifts.
Yeah, huge. Like, it's I guess my biggest takeaway, which you kind of gave away with your tips, was trusting myself. That was a huge one for me. Like, I've always been like, oh, I joined the Club Moxie, but I'm sure I'm not going to finish it. Like I had that narrative inside of me that, of course, like I give money, but I don't utilize it fully, which is, again, it wasn't about money. It was just like, I know I won't be able to keep up. That's it. Like I know that about myself, but that wasn't true. Like I think I kept up almost every single month until the end. So I was very proud about that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. And it's been really cool to hear how you've really changed the way when you say trust yourself, but the confidence that you have in knowing your process and trusting that the direction that you're headed in is meant to be, that it's right for you. It's beautiful to watch. Yeah. Well, thank you for giving me and us the opportunity to be on that journey with you. It's been so cool. It's so awesome. Abby, what about you? Like, what were your biggest takeaways?
So for me, it was really about mindset more than anything else. It's not like I woke up one morning and I was a different person with different goals. For me, it was really that the person that I wanted to be was suddenly okay. And I know that it's very woo-woo. So I have to like work past that, but I wake up in the morning and I'm excited to work towards the person that I want to be. And I've never had that before. And it's not like my goals changed. I mean, the person I want to be is the same person I wanted to be 2 or 3 years ago. But the difference is it's okay. And, especially, with the pandemic, and a lot of us experienced kind of a slowing of our lives, right? Like it's a little bit less about the hamster wheel and a little bit more about the people and the relationships and the love. And I feel empowered to pursue those things in a way that I've never experienced prior to this. And Club Moxie let me be okay with that. It didn't force me into that. It let me choose that for myself in a way that's just so organic and empowering and natural. It's not uncomfortable. It's not scary. It's just the best. It's the best version of me. And that's, it's very woo-woo, but it's the best version of me.
Yeah.
I get to be the best version of myself. That's really freaking cool.
Yes, it
I'm
is.
literally sitting over here tearing up. You're all about to cry.
I'm also like, I was a little worried I was going to get verklempt on this live, because it really is like, it's I get to be the best version of me. That's really cool.
It's so cool. It is so cool. And I think that's what I've loved so much about watching, like, being able to, as an observer, seeing all the growth that you guys have had, but even when you guys start connecting and supporting each other and having that container where we can all come in and say, like, going back to that normalizing and embracing the messy bits, to say like, oh, I'm not the only one that hears this negative chatter in my brain. I'm not the only one that's questioning of whether or not I'm a good parent. I'm struggling in my marriage or with my job, and being okay with that and knowing that you're not alone. And I think that just the power of that to me is like worth so much. Yeah.
Everything. It's everything.
It is. Yeah, it is.
And my inner critic is still a judgy witch. Club Moxie 2.0, you know what I mean when I say my inner critic is a judgy witch. And she still is, but at least I can like tell her to sit down and shut up. Like progress, y'all.
I was actually laughing at how Club Moxie's followed me everywhere because I was watching the Santa Claus the other day, and the little boy in that movie says, "It's okay, Neil. You were just denying your inner child." And I was like, oh my God.
I know, isn't it funny? It's just a particular activator gets activated, and all of a sudden you start hearing these messages. I see it in Disney movies a lot. I'm like, oh, they're totally weaving in mindset and psychology. Okay.
I love it. So I guess we probably already covered it, but what would you say to somebody who wanted to join Club Moxie and was a little bit hesitant to take that step and investment in themselves? Katie?
It's a lot of work. You put in what you get, what you put in, you will get out manifold. But it's a lot of work, and you have to be committed to doing the work. But it's like one of the best things I got out of the group that can be small, but it's also so powerful, is that during one of the exercises, I created focus statements for myself for each area of life. And it wasn't like part of the exercise. It was just like something I'm like, I think this will help me. And it's been helping me all through the last half of this year. And it's just like, and I keep going, I'm like, do I want to change this? Do I want to? I'm like, no, I'm still really good with all of them. And it's just, it just helped clarify so much for me with all of the work that I've been doing. So it's just, you'll get clarification on where you want to go. And you may find that where you think you want to go isn't exactly right, but it's okay. It's that whatever path you're on is the right path for you.
Yeah. That's a really good point. And I'm glad you brought that up, because I feel like so much of what gets in the way of us really being happy and fulfilled and satisfied in our life is living so much outside of ourselves and spending so much time in all this crazy and busy. And I feel like Club Moxie is an opportunity to, and the way that it's formatted is for you to explore internal. And we give you the tools to do that, but that can lead to your own path. Like you said, it may inspire something in you, and you find your flow, or you find that thing that speaks to your process. And I just think it's just really wonderful just to share space and normalize, all those things together. So yeah, thank you, Katie.
Mm-hmm. Vishaka, what about you?
I think just join. Like, I know everybody has their reasons for, like, you have financial concerns, whatever it may be. But if those are none of your concerns, like the financial ones, I think just join, just because the reason I say that is it's going to meet you where you're at. So I was at a very low point, and at one point I was also very content and calm. Like, those two things happened within that period, within that Club Moxie, and it just helped me be in that calm space, in that contentment, and relish it, versus when I was at a low point, it made things better. So I've been like from low to highest point, and it has just, at this point, I feel like I'm at a very good stage of my life. Like, I like being me. I like where I'm at. I like where I'm going. And even now I go back to Club Moxie 1.0 stuff, like not just goal setting, it's just the mindset stuff, the parenting, the work stuff, the financial stuff. Like, every area of life has a mindset, would help you in every area of life. And every little learning that I've had, it has helped me on the little places where I least expected. So
I love
That's
that.
so wonderful. Thank you. All right.
Abby.
Well,
we didn't get to Abby.
Oh yeah, Abby.
I'll be fast. I if it's not a financial stress for you or your family, I can't encourage you more to do it, because it's not about telling you who you're supposed to be. It's about you building the best version of yourself. And it just can't be discounted.
Mhm.
And I mean, if it's a financial stress, don't. Sorry, Sarah.
Oh no, I agree.
Yeah, if it's something that you can reasonably do, it really is. It's not about you conforming to some square thing that doesn't, it's not you. It's about you being you.
Mhm.
And that just, I can't say anything bad. about Moxie. It's just, it made me the best version of myself. And I want that for everybody.
Yes.
So do it.
Fighting the should that everybody believes you should be.
But also letting you be the could.
Yep.
Instead of the should.
Yep.
Fighting the should and letting you be the could.
Yeah.
Put that on a t-shirt.
Now you have your next to do.
Most of our t-shirts have been born in Club Moxie. I'm surprised nobody's wearing their emotional support hoodie tonight.
I'm still waiting for
stock.
Well, thank you all so much for coming on and sharing those amazing stories. I mean, there's been comments. People are crying in the comments. Jessica's crying behind the scenes. I mean, we got a lot of tears flowing back here. So thank you all so much. And I can't wait to continue this journey with you all.
Yeah. And thank you for giving us the honor of being able to be on this journey with you guys. It's been really wonderful to get to know you guys better, and I consider you guys friends now. I mean, it's just great. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Love you guys.
Oh, so amazing. So amazing.
I feel soft and mushy.
I know. I was sitting here and I'm like, Sarah, like, how does this feel? Like that you created this? That must feel so.
Oh, it's so amazing.
Smart. Yeah.
It's so cool.
Amazing.
So, with that, you guys, we are done with all of the stuff that we wanted to go over. If you guys have any questions, we'll stick around for about 15 minutes. If you want to stay on, I'm conscious of time, but I also want to give you guys an opportunity to ask any questions that you have. I know we've covered a ton of information. If you still have questions about the goal setting aspect, kind of separate from Club Moxie, by all means, feel free to go to our Facebook group and post there, because not only I try to respond to as much of them as I possibly can, but our staff does too. But you'll get a ton of community guidance, and we have newbies to power users who have been using our system since day one. And there's just so much wisdom and support to be found there.
Yeah, totally.
All right, questions.
What's the first quarter's focus?
Yeah, thank you, Shannon. That's a great question. So the first, this is off the top of my head. I meant to create a slide for this. So January is going to be a mindset month, and I'm going to really focus on unpacking, unlearning, doing a lot of the learning, questioning around the goals that we've set, and really how many of them really are in alignment with what it is that we want. So that will be January. February is, I'm excited for this one, integrating accountability into your goal setting. And I'm going to help you guys, give you some tips on either finding and creating an accountability group or partner. And also I'm going to share how I set goals with Eric and integrating goal setting with a significant other, a partner, or with your children too, or a loved one, a family member. And so you guys will get an opportunity to kind of take that aspect of your goal setting a little bit deeper, and I'll give you some tools and resources for that. And then March will be a momentum month. And so we'll focus on taking quick and fast action to keep the momentum going before we jump into quarter two.
I cannot wait for February. I'm going to make my husband sit in on that training. Just be like,
yes, perfect.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit about Facebook. I know there are a lot of people who are unhappy about it being on Facebook. I did want to suggest I know Sierra touched on kind of why it's being on Facebook. I did want to suggest, if you're not into being on Facebook fully, I've actually created a dummy account that I literally just join the groups that I want to participate in. So when I go on Facebook, I literally just see MäksēLife stuff and other groups that I want to be a part of and I intentionally want to be a part of. So I just wanted to put that out there as an option for you if that might work for you.
Also, the way that we're doing, like Club Moxie 1.0, you really had to be plugged into the Facebook group to get the content, because we were dripping the content literally every day. There was, you know, a quote or a coaching tip or a wellness tip, a affirmation, a journal prompt, like literally every single day of the week there was supporting content, and it was all kind of collectively like pouring out throughout the month. And so you did have to check in to get that content. Now that content is going to be delivered in the PDF that you will have access to download and print out and take offline if you don't want to participate in the Facebook world at all. So you would just come in, download your PDF. You will have all the content that we're giving you instead of needing to be plugged in. And then you can come in and just watch the videos and then not even show up in the group if you don't want to. But again, you know, even if we were to take the community aspect off of Facebook and do it somewhere else, it wouldn't be the same. And so for those who are really into the community aspect, Facebook gives them, and that's a majority of our community members, they want to have it there and accessible. But again, we wanted to give you the opportunity that you could dip in, take what you want and leave and not really miss anything other than just the community engagement. So hopefully that was kind of our way to like kind of meet in the middle with that.
Yeah.
And I get it. Like I have this love-hate. I'm so grateful for Facebook, because without Facebook and Instagram, none of us would be here in this setting. And I don't want to, I'm not going to throw that out, because that's why we're here and it's going to continue to grow. So, but I also really am not a fan of the way that they do business. So I'm hoping that we will eventually be able to like move off the platform. But for right now, it is the best option for what we're doing.
Is Club Moxie aligned with the flagship planner?
That's a great question. So majority of the work that we're going to be doing will help you in your process with your planner, but it's not planner specific. And so that's why, like the planner, you have everything that you need to make this work for you in these pages, in those videos that I've given you guys. Club Moxie is the opportunity to go into the nuances of that process. That's the external stuff. That's you know, writing down your plans and then executing them, the action with that. The Club Moxie is going to be the internal stuff. You know, that's why we brought Neha on to do the mindfulness, the present breath awareness training and meditation. You know, Tracy talking about mental health and how to integrate that into your process to be the very best version of yourself. And then the training topics that I'm going to go over is going to, of course, always apply to your goal setting process, but it's going to be very specific outside of what you already have. So I see the two complementing each other, and Club Moxie will support your process, but they are very, very different.
When you say hard work, what does that look like?
That's a great question. How would you describe? I mean, I hard work.
For me, it just challenges you to push yourself mentally, and if you're not someone who's particularly comfortable doing that, I think it's going to be hard to kind of push yourself to get there. Like me, I did not do any of this stuff before Club Moxie. Like I was not into it, but now I see the value of it. And it was hard to do a lot of the trainings and a lot of the homework and stuff, but it's worth it when you push through. So if anything, I would say for me, it was more mental.
Yeah, it's what it is we're going to true transformational work, true transformational work that has sustainability in your life requires you to do hard work. It requires introspection, it requires reflection, and it requires courage to be honest with yourself And that can be really scary, especially if we've been on autopilot in our life. So I liken it to, we're not therapy, but I liken it to therapy. You're going to have a deeper conversation with yourself. We're going to, but in a supportive container. It's not like we're like beating you over the head with this hard work. We're collectively asking just harder questions. When we say hard work, it's not like time. I mean, it can be time consuming depending on how much time you want to invest in it, but it's just more around the level and depth of questions and reflections and work, and maybe a different perspective at looking at things, to really identify what it is that we want and make sure that we're on our own singular path versus living through others' expectations or societal standards and norms and that kind of stuff. So that can be challenging, but it's so rewarding, and that's truly where transformational work happens. And I definitely want to, if that sounds scary to you and you're like then you will find you're like, okay, this is harder than I think I want. I don't want to go that deep. But at the same time, if you're willing to, and you are actually willing to ask the harder questions and do that harder work because you are destined for more, you want more from your life, these tools we're going to give you will help you get there.
Okay, this was a good one. If you sign up during the second or third quarter, can you see the information from the previous quarters?
Yes, you can. And that's a great question. And here's what I'll tell you, because some people will be like, well, why wouldn't I just join in June and then just, save all that money? You definitely can, binge watch all of the training videos, but you're not going to set yourself up for success because in the sense of really getting as much as you possibly can, because there is a lot to be said for going through the same stuff with your peers, with the community at the same time, working through it together, supporting each other, and also giving yourself ample time to actually process and absorb and reflect and have meaningful work. We're anticipating that anywhere from 2 to 4 hours total for the month for all of the material. It's going to be a little bit lighter than Club Moxie 1.0 for those of you who are in Club Moxie 1.0. Yeah, sure. If you were to jump in mid-year, you absolutely could watch all those videos. You just will have more of a supportive experience with all of the information by going through it with everybody.
I did just want to mention this one, Lydia. So no matter what option you pick, it's going to automatically renew until you cancel it, which is awesome. So you don't have to worry about it monthly or quarterly. It's going to automatically renew.
Yeah. And you can cancel at any time for any reason. So, we want to give you the freedom and flexibility. If you come in and you want to just try it out for January and you're like, this isn't my thing, we don't want to keep you there if you don't want to be there. And we want to, give you that flexibility. If you need that or want to exercise that, you totally can. No questions asked.
Yeah. And if you ever need help canceling, we can also do it for you. So don't feel Jessica's got you on customer service. In my career, I suffer from imposter syndrome often, even though I'm an SVP and I know I worked hard to get there. Is Club Moxie something that might help me work through some of that?
Yeah, absolutely. Just so you know, you're not alone. I work majority of my clients I had for over 10 years were C-suite type positions or entrepreneurs, business owners. And every single person struggled with imposter syndrome on some level. And yeah, absolutely. Those are the types of things that we're going to talk about because we're going to get to the root of where those things come from. Where does imposter syndrome come from? And it's usually from past experiences. So we'll figure out where that comes from. We'll talk about all of that depending on the topic of the month. We may not cover that right off the bat, but that very much is in alignment with the mindset training that I would say is the core of what I've done in my career as a life coach. And we will absolutely, absolutely talk about all that stuff. 100%.
What day does payment come out each month? It's going to come out whatever day you sign up. So today's the 16th. It'll come out on the 16th of every month or every 3 months.
Oh yeah, and so that's one thing I don't think we talked about. Doors will close, registration will close on the 31st of January.
Yes.
December.
Yeah. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, what you said. No. December 31st at midnight. Happy New Year's. Doors will close. And then our very first training or live video will be on the 4th. Our first training will be on the 6th. And you'll have your PDF prior to our training.
Do we have that? I thought we had a slide with that, but I can't see it.
We did, and it was at the bottom. I know they're like literally this big, and it's so hard to see. But yes, it's on our product page. I do know that.
Yes. So I'm sure there are questions I didn't get to. Head on over to our Facebook group, post your questions in there. If you're not comfortable asking questions publicly, hello@MäksēLife.com. Jessica and I are in the inbox daily, and we will help you out with any questions that you have. But I'm so excited for 2022.
I know. And I'm looking forward to, I've been missing this and the connection that we had with Club Moxie and being in that conversation. I mean, even as a facilitator, it feels so good for me to just constantly be in that space, holding that space and witnessing other people's growth. And it inspired me in my own journeys, my own challenges that I have. And it's just such a beautiful community. I'm just so excited to get those doors back open.
I know.
Yeah. I hope you guys will join us.
Yeah, we have a good group already, so I'm very, very excited. And
have people been signing up?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh, okay, cool.
People are ready for Club Moxie 2.0. And
Okay.
I saw a few people ask if there's a cap on how many people are going to join, and no, there's not. So we're just going to close the doors at midnight on the 31st, but we're not capping it off or anything like that.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, you guys. Well, thank you. And thank you for being here tonight. If you're still on here watching Team Replay, hello, we love you too. I just want to end with what a crazy year this has been, but also for me, I know, and I know for many of you, so transformational in the craziness and the chaos. And I get goosebumps even just talking about it right now and watching how everyone is shifting and changing and morphing. And I feel like 2022 is still probably likely going to be very much up in the air and chaotic and cards still up in the air. But I also feel like this might be the opportunity for us to really start figuring out what that shift is. And I'm really excited to kind of be in that constant conversation with everyone. But I think this year, I cautiously say that because I remember how excited I was for 2021. Not too excited though, because I did not put my goals down on anything but Post-it notes, but I'm writing my goals in ink this year. So to me, that tells me I'm feeling pretty darn hopeful.
That's big.
Yeah. Anyway, I love you guys. I'm sending you all many blessings in the new year and beyond. And if there's anything that we can ever do for you, please don't hesitate to reach out. And I hope to see you guys in Club Moxie. If not, we're still going to be in the Facebook group, the free Facebook group. Please use those resources, the freebies on our website. If for any reason our system or this Club Moxie isn't accessible to you for any reason, feel free to email hello@MäksēLife. And we do have donors that, including us, that we grant scholarships to and that kind of stuff. So please reach out if you'd like to nominate someone. It is important to me that people are invested enough to want to invest in themselves, because when someone has skin in the game, they're willing to stick through and actually invest in themselves more. But we want to make it accessible for everyone. And so that's why we have the freebies on the website. I've had people ask me, they're like, why do you have half of your system on the website for free? And I'm like, because I want everyone to use this. It works. So yeah, take advantage. And we hope to see you in Club Moxie.
Yeah. Bye.
Thank you guys. Bye.